What does it take for you to change? Why is it that you keep going back to things that are not meant for you? See, in the Bible, it says there's a way that seems right to a man, but in the end, it leads to death. And a lot of times, we may think that we know everything. We have our own pride, we have our own proclivities, but there's a lot of things in life that we don't know. We're trying to figure it out. It doesn't matter if you're poor, it doesn't matter if you're rich, if you're middle class, a billionaire, you're still trying to figure out life. You still have things you're learning and you're developing as you go about your everyday life. But there's always that one thing that you need to let go of. There's always that person, that obstacle that you know that you can change about yourself with your relationship with a certain energy or a certain person. So you have to create boundaries for yourself and you have to execute them in order for you to leap into the reality that you want, that you prayed for. And in this video, I'm going to teach you why it's so important to give yourself permission to change and how to actually take control of your life. So the first thing I need you to understand is that if you want to change something, if you want to go towards something, it's time to get uncomfortable. You know, in high school, there's a reason why when you're learning a sport, they make you do conditioning and you have to show up to the conditioning in order for you to actually even get accepted for trials to a certain sport, whether it's baseball, basketball. So what is it? What does this mean? It means that you have to condition your body to adjust to what it is that you are trying to perform, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, whether it's spiritually. So if you want to be a powerful Christian, you have to go through conditioning. You have to pray in the secret place. You have to read the word. You have to connect with your Father. Because the more you are receptive to the Holy Spirit, the more you are receptive to impressing your subconscious with the word, you actually become more powerful. You actually can resist the enemy. So by you becoming stronger, disciplining yourself, conditioning yourself, you can actually erase what was done to you. You don't have to marinate on the past. You don't have to go through 1,000 self-help books, a bunch of trauma healing and all of that. You can just decide, this is who I'm going to be now. And by you creating a reality to where what you want, by you method acting who you're trying to be, what you're trying to attain, you can actually dissolve that old self that does have those false memories or false conditionings that was placed upon them by the past or something or someone you're not trying to be anymore. The next thing I want to talk about is realizing that sometimes you cannot use manpower. So how do you leap over a situation when you can't use your own manpower? You have to use God power. And how do you use God power? It's the Holy Spirit. And an example of this is even in the Old Testament, when Moses was freeing the Israelites out of slavery, there was a whole huge sea that they had to get across. With manpower, Moses could not just like cause the sea to rift apart. No, he had to call upon God and he had to give the Holy Spirit right away to work, and it split the Red Sea. And they were able to move through the Red Sea on their journey to the Promised Land. And that is exactly what you need to do as well. Use God power to bend things that the carnal mind cannot foresee. Like when you operate on the Holy Spirit, God makes a way when there is no way. Like a lot of times, a lot of these obstacles in your life are spiritual. Like everything we see around us is spiritual. It is energy. If you look even scientifically, everything that you see, it is different arrangements of atoms that move together in molecules. But at the end of the day, it's not actually a physical object. They're actually vibrating really close microscopically. Nothing is actually still. We are all energy. Everything we see, everything we touch, everything came from the mind first. So with that understanding, you know that you can actually connect with the Holy Spirit through the mind by you praying and surrendering to his power, to his divinity, in order for you to allow him to do his job in your life. Stop trying to use your manpower. Use God's power. Use the Holy Spirit to leap over those bounds within your reality in order for you to reach the promised land designated for you. Don't wait on anybody to save you. In this life, who do you have? You have you and you have God, okay? Especially right now is the best time. If you have no kids, you have no partner, you have yourself to focus on. Focus on becoming the best man, the best woman of God that you could possibly be. Elevate yourself, build your skills, read books, get closer to God. Start developing who you are and who you want to be. Because the more knowledgeable you are, the less people will play with you. Recognizing that in life, people are here to help you, yes, but at the end of the day, you have to actually go up to those places that you need to be. You have to go to those job openings, those interviews. You have to go to church if you want to get closer to God. You have to open up that Bible. You have to open up your mouth and pray to God. You have to open up and talk to other men and women that are going to further who you are and who you are trying to be, elevating your spirit, man, elevating your physical abilities, your mental capacity. You have to make that decision. You are a powerful being. And when you start recognizing this is who I am and this is who I'm trying to be, you can actually move towards the designated path that God laid out for you. So, how do you actually jump towards the path that you want? Realizing that you have to do this on your own. This goes to my next topic, which is delete the old self and close the contract. So within this reality, right, we have our own preconceived version of ourselves. If you were to write who is blank, your name on a piece of paper, you will have a little version that you created of yourself. I love to do this, or I don't like to do this. These are my hobbies. These are what I love when I am spending time with my family, my friends. These are the things I am going for in my life. You'll have this little version of who you are, right? That's your own self-image that you perceived of yourself based off of your own background, your own upbringing, and who your identity is, right? But realize that a lot of these things about you keep you who you are right now, which is uncomfortable. There's certain factors about that. So what can you do? You can change that. You can mold that into a version that you actually want to go become the person that you need to be, that will actually fulfill the version of you that is on that other side of your next path. So realizing that certain aspects about you maybe are not going to bring you towards the path that you want. And you have to be really honest with yourself. Be honest. If you actually are lazy on something, be honest about it. If you don't believe in yourself, be honest about it. If you're embarrassed or you have shame about certain things, be honest about these things. Because when you run and you do not face your own emotions, your own fears, your own traumas, you cannot release that energy and close those contracts that you have with those things that maybe are not true or that are preconceived manifestations of fears that you created, but maybe are not even actual fears on paper. So you have to address that energy or else it'll keep repeating itself throughout your life. In life, we accept the love we believe we deserve. This is a tale as old as time, and I need you to realize, who told you that you don't deserve to have the best life? Who told you that you need to have a toxic household, a toxic relationship, a bad bank account, or maybe, not invest in who you are, not invest in your looks? Whoever told you whatever, that is something that you're holding on to. You need to let that go. You deserve to have a loving environment, a loving space. You deserve to have a loving internal space, as within as without. You should love yourself within and it should be expressed without. Because when you start to love yourself and respect yourself and show up for yourself in the best way, that is how people will show up for you. That is how the world will treat you. If I don't love myself, I'm showing to the world, I don't expect you to love me. If I don't respect myself, I'm showing the world, I don't care if you don't respect me either. And that is not true. Whenever you walk somewhere, you need to realize that you are a miracle. You are a miracle. It's actually a privilege to be around you. It's actually a privilege to be with you, in proximity to you. Treat yourself like a miracle. And when you start making these decisions, you will have a better discernment level when you make people your friends or you make people your partner or whatever the case may be in this life. Next thing I want to talk about is make it obvious what you need to change. So I was reading this book called Atomic Habits, and basically the author stated that if you want to change something, you have to make it obvious, because a lot of times when you don't make something obvious and you're not repeating it to yourself, your subconscious mind forgets about it. You can read something consciously, but if it is not impressed to your subconscious, your identity can never shift. So if you have a tracking planner, a journal, if you have postcards you can post around your house, what do you need to change, or what is something that you need to keep note of? What's a boundary that you need to enforce towards yourself or others? That is really important and actually keeps you accountable for you to make better decisions within your life. Okay, so we all do know that the universe is real. We know that the stars are here, right? In the beginning, before the stars, when you go outside at night, you see the stars, you see, the moon and all that. It's really beautiful, really nostalgic. But I want you to recognize that before that even took place, the universe had to expand, it had to grow, right? God had to speak forth and the universe had to form. So, that being said, the universe is constantly expanding, growing, and changing. So you as well, you have to grow, change, and expand. Because whenever your soul is not changing and you are not evolving, if you're not getting more loving, if you're not becoming more creative in this life, you will become stagnant. And whenever you become stagnant, that energy is like a void, it's like a black hole, and it needs more stuff to fill it in. But instead, transform that into light, transform that into something holy, and you can create life. You can create heaven on earth for yourself. Like, realize that you actually are meant to evolve and grow in this life. You are meant to become the best version of yourself. Last but not least, if you watch this to the end, I want you to realize that in this life, there's a reason why the majority, they are not changing, they're not growing, they're not actually trying to become somebody. And why is this? It's because they don't believe in themselves. So you have to believe in yourself. If you give yourself permission to change and you believe in yourself, if you believe in God, that if I just obey God, I know that it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen when, I don't know how, but you just have to be, you just have to do, and you will have. Meditate on these three mantras: to be, to do, to have. Okay? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Visualize that. What do you need to do? What are the actions that you are doing now? Do not wait tomorrow. If you say, I'm going to do it tomorrow, but you do none of that, you are conditioning your brain that you are a liar. So start saying today, what do I need to do? It doesn't need to be something big, but you do a micro of what goal that you want. Do a small section of it. So you at least did 100% more than 0% today. The next thing is to have. So to have, that's up to God to know when you have it, but know that you will have it. If you marinate on it, what does the word say? If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it shall be done for you. So if you actually believe and you marinate on who God is, you marinate on you going towards those goals, you changing and evolving and believing, it will manifest. Life will work out miraculously for you. Thank you guys for watching this to the end of this video. I hope you guys learned something. Please subscribe to the channel, Naika Griffin, and I'll see you in my next YouTube video. Peace out, guys. Have a good one. Kings and queens.